traders, FX Pip Collector here. Today is Friday, February 28th, and this is my morning video where we cover the US dollar pairs, including gold, and we also take a look at a few of the JPY pairs. Don't forget to join my free Discord channel, linked at the end of this video down here in the corner and in the description. Also, don't forget to take a look at my website, fxpipcollector.com, if you'd like to get access to all these benefits listed below and more. So, anyways, first thing first, always looking at the news calendar each morning, so we're aware of the news. Overall, it's been a little bit of a slow week for the dollar. Yesterday we had a big move, though, which was really nice to finally see. Today we have, well, we had the CPI first thing this morning. I think that's already over with. It says all day, though, but we have core PCE this afternoon in the New York session. And we also have GDP. Both of those are pretty decent news events. And then a little bit later in the day, we got Chicago PMI, which is definitely not that great of a news event, probably not much of a market mover. But PCE and GDP definitely could move the market for sure. So looking at this US dollar index, if you've been following along with my videos, you know that I've been saying forever that if this goes up and breaks structure, then I'm going to call it a wave C, and more than likely we are back into the uptrend. Definitely not really what I expected. I was thinking more likely that it was going to make a lower high go down and prove that this wave B on the higher time frames is over. But it looks to me like now we're going to make another attempt on the US dollar, probably back up to these highs. There is a chance that it makes like a three-way pattern up and this turns into three waves down, three waves up. But either way, I think it's going to make another attempt on the highs. So if the dollar makes another attempt on the highs, then you definitely would expect to see something pretty similar on every single one of these dollar pairs. So definitely keep that in mind. Moving on to the euro dollar. The euro dollar gave us a big breaker structure yesterday to the downside. Very impulsive move. To me, now that they broke structure to the downside, to me it kind of looks like one, two, three waves up. So maybe we're looking at either an expanding or a running. If it is a running, it could go down to like the 78 or the 88% and then turn back up, making something like this, like a running ABC correction. Probably more than likely, though, looking at the dollar index, it is going to keep on going down, probably turning more into like an expanding, which means it's probably going to go all the way back down to these lows and maybe even back down to these lows. So now that we have that break on the US dollar, we definitely should be looking to sort the euro dollar. We just hit the 61%, which is probably going to be an area of resistance, but I would definitely be looking at any moves I see to the upside as likely just corrections, pullbacks to the downtrend. So taking it down to the 1 hour time frame, I definitely wouldn't try to go short now. What I would want to see is I'd want to see this go up. I'd want to see it break structure. Then I would throw my Fibonacci retracement out here. Once it does that, then I would observe the market to see if it made like a three-way pullback so we could go short. If you are a very short time frame trader, maybe once you get the break of structure, you can try to go long. I don't really recommend it because it might just end up being just a very small correction, maybe even something like this, and then just go down. I would recommend shifting your focus to looking for shorts in a downtrend, basically in all the dollar pairs, really. Moving on to the pound dollar. Pound dollar did break structure to the downside, but not with much momentum. The pound is still very strong overall. I think the pound is also going to make a move down, but I think it's more than likely going to be just a correction to this last wave. Maybe go down to like the 61, 78%, something like that, and then possibly continue the uptrend from there. But for now, I definitely think we should be looking for shorts. And while we're looking for shorts, if it just keeps going and going and going, it shouldn't really be a problem if we're looking for shorts and it just keeps going. So going down to the 1 hour time frame, I do see an alternative count on this pound dollar, but because of the dollar index, I don't really think it's likely to happen. I mean, there is definitely a chance that this is like an expanding ABC right here, and this just keeps on going up. Definitely is possible. But because of the US dollar index, I don't really think that's the case. I think that if it does go up, it's likely just to be another pullback. It's probably going to make some sort of a three-way pullback, and it's probably going to continue on these sort of time frames to trend down. So I would definitely shift my focus on the pound dollar to trying to look for shorts. Keep in mind that it possibly could turn up because the pound is very strong compared to most other currencies, but overall, definitely still looking for shorts, or now I'm looking for shorts in a downtrend. And then moving on to the Aussie. The Aussie was very weak before the news even came out yesterday. Which it wasn't the scheduled news that caused these moves, anyways. It was Trump talking about the tariffs. I'm pretty sure he set a date on when the tariffs are going to start. I think next Tuesday, March 4th. some of the tariffs are going to start taking effect. So the Aussie dollar, anyways, was very weak before the news even came out, and then the dollar pushed up, which caused the Aussie dollar to even be even weaker. The fact that it broke structure to the upside still makes me wonder if this is possibly going to still make a higher low, maybe go down to the 78% and then go back up. But boy, if the dollar index keeps going up, this is likely to keep on going down and possibly even take out these previous lows. So because of that, we definitely should be looking for sorts in the downside, I think. Going down to the 1 hour time frame, I definitely wouldn't try to go short now. And these Fibonacci areas are definitely areas of support when the market's going down or resistance when the market's going up. So we probably are going to get a little bit of a bounce today, but I'm not really recommending longs unless you're like really trying to scalp because this could just make a very small three-way pullback and just continue the downtrend. So I definitely am recommending shorts. If it does start up, if it does break structure, the first thing I would do if I was trying to get, a short time frame entry is I would throw my Fibonacci retracement on here. As soon as it broke structure to the upside, I would put my fib on there and I would look for three-way pullbacks to go short again for the continuation of the downtrend. The Kiwi dollar is exactly the same thing as the Aussie dollar, exactly the same analysis, so I don't really cover it. I do trade it, but don't really cover it. US dollar CAD also broke structure to the upside. To be honest with you, I have a hard time believing that the dollar CAD is going to go all the way back up and take out the previous highs. But if the dollar keeps pushing up, then this is probably going to keep pushing up also. So for me, I would expect to see a pullback and then another push up. And I think there's a chance it might just go up to a fib level and then turn down. But for now, I think we should be looking for logs. And while we're looking for logs, if it does just keep on going up and if it does make a new high, we should be looking for logs now anyways that we got the bigger structure. So it really shouldn't create any issues for us. At least now that we got the break and structure, it shouldn't. So going down to the 1 hour time frame, nice clear break and hold above structure. I definitely personally wouldn't be trying to go long right this minute. I would only be going long on pullbacks. So if it does, I'm not saying that it's going to now, it could continue to drift up, but I'm saying that if and when it does make a pullback, especially if it turns into a three-way pullback, something like this, I definitely would be focused on looking for logs. A lot of times when you get a break of structure, it will actually come back down below the structure. So hopefully we get a nice pullback maybe today, so that way maybe early next week we could get a nice long opportunity on these dollar pairs. And moving on to the US dollar Swiss. US dollar Swiss is actually not going up as strong as some of the other dollar pairs are. I mean, there's definitely a chance that this is just a correction to the last wave, but because of the dollar index, I would be looking for longs right now. And I think there's a good chance that this is also going to make another attempt on the highs. I think there's a good chance this is going to go up to at least this blue box that I got right here, because this is a major liquidity area from the higher time frames. So I think there's a good chance that it's actually going to go up and take out all the previous highs. So going down to the 1 hour time frame, I personally wouldn't be trying to go long now. I'd be trying to go long at the end of one, two, three-way pullbacks like that. Even this right here is a three-way pullback that's expanding. So we are at the 78%. So hopefully that will be an area of resistance. Hopefully we will get a pretty decent pullback because that would give me another great opportunity to go long for the continuation of the uptrend. I'm not saying that it's going to pull back now. It possibly could just keep drifting up. I'm just saying when it does pull back, that's when I will be ready to pull the trigger for another long opportunity. So moving on to gold. Gold did break structure to the downside, and it is definitely holding below structure. So that tells me that this move up is complete. We definitely have what looks like 5 waves up also. So we can't really confirm 100%, but we possibly have the end of a wave 3 now on the weekly, monthly time frame. If it is the end of a wave 3, then it might not even be a crunch into this last move. It might actually go down to about the $2,500 area. But either way, I would be looking for shorts. I would be watching these fib levels for areas of support. If it does make 3 waves down over the next week or so and then turn out a fib level, I would probably go back to logs. But we might possibly be in a big wave 4 right now, and this big wave 4 would last a long time, probably drifting down to about the $2,500 area. So now that we got the bigger structure, definitely looking for shorts. So it's nice that we got these breaks. Like I said, I mean, I I'm just following along with the trend. I was originally thinking this was going to be an ending diagonal and possibly go up again, but it never did make that impulsive move up with the breaker structure that I was talking about. So there was really never an opportunity to get back long. But instead, it made Lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. It just kept going down, eventually giving us a break of structure, which I think confirms the end of that five-way move on the higher time frames. So what does that mean? That means I would be looking for shorts right now, and I definitely wouldn't be trying to go short now. We've just taken out a few pretty important structure levels, so hopefully we're going to start a pullback, and hopefully it'll be a nice three-wave pullback, so that way we can go short again for the continuation of the downtrend. We might have a lot of downside potential on gold now, so be ready to go look for shorts in a downtrend. And moving on to the US dollar yen, we had that yen CPI inflation data last night, which actually caused most of the yen pairs to push down a little bit, but this move up right here, we have to keep in mind, still could be a correction to this move down. Now, if you do trade the sort of time frames, you can be looking for longs. And while you're looking for longs, if it just keeps on going up, then fine, it just keeps on going up. But while you're looking for longs, you need to keep an eye on these higher time frame fib levels. If it goes up to a Fibonacci retracement level, turns down with momentum, I would stop looking for longs immediately and go back to shorts, because hopefully you guys have seen, but my higher time frame analysis has all the yen pairs going down for a very long time, possibly. So anyways, going down to the 1 hour time frame, we definitely do have a break of structure to the downs upside now, that is, because we made a new low and then we went up and we broke the last previous swing high before it went down and made a new swing low. So now I would expect to see at least a pullback someplace between the 38 and the 78%. Now, if you are trading the short time frames, you definitely can be looking for longs now. And while you're looking for longs, if it just goes and goes and goes, then great, that's good. But while you're looking for longs, if it makes any kind of a three-wave looking pullback to a fib level and then turns down with a big momentum, big impulsive move, then I definitely would stop looking for longs and start looking for shorts, because like I said, the higher time frames definitely could continue the downtrend very, very easily. Moving on to the euro yen. So yeah, the euro yen, we definitely did make another pretty big push down, but like I've been saying for a while now, I still think there's a chance that this is going to go down and make a big old wave C of wave 4, which would potentially have this going down for a very long time, probably at least another month or so. That doesn't mean that there couldn't be some rallies on sort of time frames. That just means that as long as it doesn't break structure, which it definitely hasn't done so, I potentially would keep my focus on assuming that anything I see to the upside is nothing more than a correction to the downtrend. So keep an eye out for shorts. I mean, this really doesn't even have to make a significant pullback. It could like go up to the 38% and then just keep on going down. So definitely keep an eye out for sorting opportunities on the dollar pairs. This little spike down that we got at the news last night definitely does look like that wave five, like that wave five shape that you see at the end of pretty much every trend. So there probably is a good chance that it's going to go up more. Probably is a pretty good chance it's going to break structure. Just keep in mind that the higher time frames could still be in a downtrend. So it might literally just go up to the 38% or the 50% and then just turn right back down. So if you are trading the sort of time frames, I think you could justify looking for logs, but you have to keep in mind that anything you see to the upside very likely is just another pullback to a downtrend on the higher time frames. Moving on to the pound yen, like I've been saying, if I was going to go long a yen pair, it probably would have to be the pound yen, because the pound has been so strong compared to other currencies, and the pound yen is actually not taking out the low like pretty much every other yen pair has. So there is a possibility that this makes a pretty significant move up. But be careful with assuming that on these yen pairs, because if you've been following along with my videos, you know that I think there's a chance this might go all the way down to here. So that means this move up could just be a little pullback within a downtrend. So be very careful assuming that these yen pairs are going up in any significant way. They literally could just go up to any one of these Fibonacci retracement levels and then just turn right back down. So taking it down to the 1 hour time frame. So now that we got that big spike down last night, the market definitely has that 3, 4, 5 set that you see at pretty much the end of every trend. So I think there is a pretty good chance that we'll at least go up and take out these highs. So that probably puts us up to at least the 50%. So if you are trading the shorter time frames, you could definitely be looking for longs. And while you're looking for longs, if it just keeps on going and going and going, then that's great news for you. While you're looking for logs, if it makes any sort of a three-wave corrector pattern up to a fib level and then turns down with momentum, I would definitely keep in mind the higher time frame analysis is still down, and that this move up is definitely still possibly a correction to the downtrend. So definitely still keeping an eye out for sorts on the yen pairs. The JPY basket has not given us confirmation that the yen is turning up in a very significant way as of yet, unfortunately. So anyways, don't forget to join my free Discord trading community. And as always, thank you for watching and happy trading.